and welcome to Emma's ESL English. Yesterday, we talked about how to start your email. But sadly, that's only just the beginning of our problems. As I mentioned yesterday, the most casual emails are pretty simple. So we're really going to be looking at the next two levels in this podcast. In English, we quite often like to be polite by saying more. We extend our sentences. So let's start with some of the words that we had in yesterday's podcast. I hope you don't mind me getting in touch, Jane. That's how we started our email. Of course, we could say, hello, Jane. I hope you don't mind me getting in touch. That's fine too. This start sounds a little bit like maybe somebody we met at a networking event or who we worked with some time ago. Maybe we want to ask how they are. That's a pretty polite way to start. So we might, after we've said our hello, Jane, I hope you don't mind me getting in touch, or I hope you don't mind me getting in touch, Jane, we might say, I hope you're doing well, or how are you? It's been a while. We could say, I hope this email finds you well, or I hope everything's going well, or I hope everything's going well at your end. I hope this email finds you well, and I hope everything's going well at your end are both left over from when we wrote letters. So they tend to be a little bit long and more formal. They're probably, I would say, less used in emails, but there's nothing wrong with writing them. And as I said, we have a lot of leftover stuff from when we learned how to write letters. So it's very possible that somebody is going to start maybe all of their emails with I hope this email finds you well. And it's really quite acceptable to have a predictable start and end to your email. I found when I was working in business, it was pretty common that people just write the same stuff every single time they write an email, and it's only the middle that changes. But again, I would say take your lead from the people you're talking to. See what they're writing in their emails. If you can make it more personal, do, but don't panic if you can't. How are you? It's been a while, or I hope everything's going well. I hope you're doing well. They're all perfectly acceptable ways to start. If we say, long time no see, how are you? I think that's really better for old friends. So even though you maybe haven't worked with this person for a while, if you're colleagues, I would steer away from long time no see. Next, you want to broach the topic of your email. Why are you writing to them? So I would suggest going straight into it. If you spend all your time being polite, the person's going to hate receiving your emails. They have to read whatever you write. And if they have to read lots before they get to the point, they're just going to get frustrated with you. So I would say if you want to make a nice statement like I hope you're doing well, keep it to that. Don't put anything extra in there. Unless you know them quite well. If you had a conversation last week and you know that their wife is about to have a baby, then it's totally okay to say, I hope everything's going well with your wife's pregnancy, or let me know if I can help with anything. So, the subject, why did you email them? I wondered if I could ask your opinion about something. So maybe we can start our email with, Hi Jack, I hope you're doing well. I wondered if I could ask your opinion about something. Or, we've got a new product and I wondered if I could get your input on it or your opinion about it. I wondered if is quite a common phrase to politely ask somebody for something or for their suggestions about something. Another one, this is kind of an idiom, we can say, I'd love to pick your brain about the new project. So pick your brain. It means I want to talk to you and I want to ask your opinion about something and I want to hear what you think about it. If we've met at a conference, for example, or some kind of networking event, it's good to reference that. If this is the first time you're contacting them since you had that event, then it's good to reference that event so it kind of reminds them, it jigs their memory about where did they meet this person. So, it was so great to meet you at the conference in San Francisco. I wondered if we might get a coffee next week. We also use the word catch up a lot in these more casual level conversations. I'd love to have a catch up about the new team. So that maybe means a email conversation, online meeting, or it may mean going for coffee. You can clarify that later in the sentence. But I'd love to have a catch up about blah 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 is quite common. Okay, let's try something different. Sorry to bother you, Jane. That suggests you think Jane is pretty busy or her time is valuable. So next you might want to say, I know you're busy, so I'll get right to the point. Or, I appreciate your time is valuable, so I'll make this quick. So you're telling them in that statement, the reason why I'm not being all fluffy and flowery in my email is because I appreciate that your time is valuable and I want to speed this thing up. It allows you to be a little bit more concise because you've already stated that. So then you would go on to explain the reason for your email. Actually, this whole conversation also works really well if you're having a phone call, like an impromptu phone call with somebody. If you phone someone and they seem pretty busy, you could say, I'm sorry to bother you, Jane. I know you're busy, so I'll get right to the point, and then start your conversation. So, what about the next level? You're emailing Dear Director Smith. I would suggest these people are busy. They don't have the time to read a nice, pretty, flowery email. If it's too long, they might just dismiss it. So then you're never getting read at all. So you want to stay polite, but also concise. Dear Director Smith, I'm writing to invite you to our next conference. Dear Sir, I wanted to connect ahead of our new collaboration. Dear Mrs. Smith, your speech at the conference was so inspiring, and I think our business goals align, so I wanted to get in touch to discuss a collaboration. We're still being very polite, we're explaining the reason for getting in touch, and we're trying to use high-level language. I'm going to circle back to one of those in a bit. As you can hear, I'm not really using any of the friendly stuff I had with the last person. I'm not saying how are you or I hope you're well. Of course, if you've talked to them before, it's totally okay for you to start with I hope you're well. You could also mention something you know they might be proud of or you know is relevant to the business you're doing together or what's happening in their lives. So for example, you might say congratulations on the new business. But then you want to quickly go on to state the reason for getting in touch with them. And in this case, politeness is expressed in the dear. So the fact that you've used Dear Director Smith is already telling them that you're being more polite. And the complete grammar that you're using adds to that. So we've said, I'm writing to invite you, rather than I wanted to invite you, or will you come to? So already that higher level of grammar is telling them you're being more polite. Let's leave it there for today. Tomorrow, we're talking about how to end your email. Please get in touch if you have any questions. You can email me at emmaeslenglish@gmail.com. Or you can head over to the blog where all of these things will be written down. You can copy and paste them if you want to. And that is at www.emmaeslenglish.com. And please share with your friends if you think this is useful. Okay, thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Bye.